Hey guys, today is the day. I am on my way to the tattoo parlor to get my tattoo. So you guys are gonna come along with me. Let's go.
Joey? Chance.
It's nice to meet you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. That's super cool.
Pretty much what you're looking for?
Yes.
Cool.
Is there something wrong?
No, I'm just trying to figure it out. Your arm is a little bit bigger than most people. It's larger in the back.
Yeah.
So for some reason, I'm trying to split the difference between the bicep and the back of the arm. So this is your first ever, huh? Number one?
The first one I want to talk about, when I went into the ministry, I just got that little tiny thing on my
Oh,
foot
so you have something. So
by
you're
a friend.
kind of familiar with it.
Yeah.
All right.
That hurt like a son of a gun.
They
But I
do.
did it just to like, cause I never in a million years would have thought I'd be going in ministry. Like the way I grew up and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And so I needed a little like something to look at and be like, okay, I'm really gonna do this. So I grew up in a little town and we didn't grow up in church. Good family, like daddy loved me, my mama loved me, but we hunted and fished, we didn't go to church. And there was this man in town, his name was Coach Bull Lee. And he invited me to go to this camp that he ran each and every summer. And there would be kids from all over the county that would go there. And of course I believe that there was a God because I'm from the South and everybody from the South believes that there's a God. But there was this particular night, this Thursday night in Bennettsville, South Carolina at Camp Pine Hill Baptist Retreat Center, when Coach Bull Lee explained that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that anybody, including a little boy like me, that would believe or surrender or trust in him, that they could go to heaven, that their sins could be forgiven, and that they could have a relationship with God.
How's it feel, Joby?
15.
Not bad though.
Nah. I mean, yeah, it hurts like crazy. But... Well, the reason I'm going with that verse, the guy that led me to the Lord was a football coach.
Okay.
He just died about a year and a half ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear it.
And it was because of Coach Lee that I taught my first Bible study. It was Coach Lee that gave me my first opportunity to ever lead anything that had to do with the church. And so then fast forward several years, and I was on a mission trip in Jamaica, and I got a call from an old friend and said that Coach Lee had gone to be with the Lord. And so at his funeral, a pastor named Johnny Rickenbacker, who was actually one of the counselors at camp that year when I became a Christian, he did Coach Lee's eulogy, he among like 4 or 5 other guys. And I couldn't be at the funeral again because I was on that mission trip. So one of my friends from Beach he actually grew up with Coach Lee and brought me a DVD of the funeral. And so I sat and I watched it and I cried and thought about what an incredible man he is and how much, I mean, you know, like where would my life be if this guy hadn't surrendered his life to the Lord and then opened his eyes to look around for some lost little kids to pour his life into. And Johnny Rickenbacker read this verse, Acts 11:24. And it says, and he was a good man, full of the Holy Spirit and faith, and many people were led to the Lord. And he said that verse just told the story of Coach Lee, that he was a good man, that he was a good dad, he was a good husband, he was a good friend, he was a good man of high moral character, that he was full of the Holy Spirit, that God had an easy time manipulating Coach Lee, that God could speak to his heart and he knew what he was saying and he did what God asked him to do, that he was full of faith, that he tried things that everybody else thought would never ever happen, would always fail. But Coach Lee had faith that God, with God everything was possible. And there were many people that were led to the Lord by the life of Coach Lee, and I was one of those folks. And so with that in mind, I wanted that to be marked on my body forever and ever, so that every day when I wake up that I would be reminded that my goal in life is to be a good man. I want to be a good husband, a good father, a good friend. I want to be a man of high moral character. I want to be full of the Holy Spirit, that God has an easy time directing my life. I want to be a man full of faith, that's not led by fear, that's not timid, but that I'm strong and courageous because I know that God is with me. And ultimately, I want there to be a whole lot of people that have a relationship with Jesus Christ, that understand His forgiveness and that peace that comes to a relationship with Him because of what God has decided to do in my life. And so I wanted to be marked by the cross and His crown, and that verse, Acts 11:24.